Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the DUI Guy Plus, Raw Law Unfiltered. Boy, where do I even begin today? Um, honestly, I came here for the Masterson trial. I had no idea that Masterson is not all I was going to come for. Um, right across the hall on the same floor, on the ninth floor of the Superior District Court building, is the Harvey Weinstein trial unfolding. Now, I thought it was the Masterson trial at first, based on the amount of people that were waiting outside. And when I went today, I was expecting a similar amount of people, but actually, there wasn't the same amount of people. Why? Because on Monday, the governor's wife, who's one of the alleged victims of Harvey Weinstein back before she was the governor's wife, um, had testified, and there were a bunch of former victims of like the Bill Cosby thing. It's literally, basically it was like a welcome to Hollywood moment for me, like a few times over. Very, very bizarre. Um, very bizarre. But anyway, so Harvey Weinstein. Okay, here's what I know, and I know more than I knew this morning, definitely, but there's still a lot to learn because again, I literally just walked over while the Masterson jury's, by the way, still deliberating, still no decision, kind of like what I predicted. I didn't think they were going to come with a decision today. They're going to have a decision tomorrow. Um, now with Harvey Weinstein, I only saw one day of testimony. And in the beginning, it was very hard to get a read on that jury. I barely took notes today. I was just so entranced by the testimony that just looking at the jury, I can tell you collectively, I don't need individual juror reactions for this one. They are bored. They appear to have already made up their minds about Harvey Weinstein, whether good or bad. We'll get to that in a moment. But essentially, we had one main witness that took up most of the day, both the direct and cross, and then we had a couple of side witnesses. That one which we finished, that was the first one, and then there was the third one that is going to resume cross-examination tomorrow morning. Here's what I saw. So the first witness that they put on, I swear to God, I don't want to make any judgment calls out loud, but she should. Did the prosecution not vet their witnesses before they put them on the stand? Like, you're, as an attorney, you're not permitted to coach a witness. You can't be like, coaching them, but you're allowed to talk to them. They're not like this ethereal, majestic creature you cannot associate with in conversation. And it feels to me like some of these witnesses, as I've been told also in previous days when I wasn't there, didn't even want to be there. They were literally subpoenaed, dragged by their throats, forced to come in to testify. And all they say is like, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't recall. Nope, it's been too long. I don't know, I don't know, I don't remember. And it looks terrible for the prosecution's case. Absolutely atrocious. Now, aside from the fact that you have people in the gallery that are, as I understand, a lot of them are also like fellow former survivors of sexual assault. They're there to kind of like, support their compatriots, which is fine to an extent. As I understand, when the governor's wife testified, there was a lot of, like on Monday when I wasn't there, which is completely inappropriate. And jurors are going to look at that. If you think you're going to be swaying, remember my genuine reaction, my from the audience, and I wasn't the only one. Like the whole room reacted in the same way. You think that is going to affect the jury? Come on. Let alone a bunch of women who are like, oh God, oh ha, like you think that is going to sway the jury in their opinion? Please, okay, please. They're going to make a decision independently of one another. Now, my thoughts on the Weinstein jury, and this may come as a bit of a shock, it may not. Based on everything I've learned, based on everything I know so far, Harvey Weinstein probably did most, if not all, of the things being alleged. But there's a caveat. Did the recipient, were they a willing or unwilling participant, some of them, maybe not all of them, in the whole, like how it all unfolded? Because you got to remember, these are people who have their career, they have their life basically like married to like Los Angeles, right? And if they don't follow along, well, their career is screwed. So to dangle, it's like a carrot and a stick. Which one do you want today? It's disgusting. Welcome to fucking Hollywood, basically, right? This is the kind of world that you're in. But at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, these women did, although it was a Hobson's choice almost, a lot of them appear to have had a option. They could have just walked away and said, fuck you, I'm not doing anything with you. Sure, it may cost me my career, but I'm going to be going doing something else. But instead, they chose, because it was not, like the woman today that testified, she was like, Harvey would tell me to meet him or to meet his assistant in the hotel lobby after she already alleged that he had like assaulted her on a previous occasion. There were like subsequent meetings, meeting number 2, meeting number 3, meeting number 4, meeting number 5, meeting number 6. And each time she's like tricked into being alone with Harvey. So like one of the instances, for example, she testified, she came in, she was going to give him a CD. So she emails him an MP3 of her voice. And he says, no, bring me a CD. My assistant will meet you downstairs. And she wants to hand over the CD to the assistant. And the assistant's like, no, you come with me. And then they go upstairs to his room, and then the assistant disappears, and there's Harvey, and all of a sudden she's right back to square one. It's like, oh my God. It's like you made the conscious decision. You can't play innocent victim here, because you're not. You're not an innocent victim. You willingly followed along, not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, like 8 times. So look, I understand where these women are trying to come from. Like I had no choice, but you did. And that's the problem. And that's where the case against Harvey Weinstein is starting to fall apart. I was literally looking at the jurors. They were rolling their eyes like, oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? There's this woman who's basically almost like transcribing the entire case. Thank you so much, Thomas Robinson. Don't get me wrong. It's still a sleazebag move to do. But he didn't like physically force himself. Like when we think about sexual assault, we think about the absence of consent. Okay. That is the definition, because the antiquated definition of I physically came on top of you is dead. That concept no longer exists. And I even saw that in the Masterson trial. That was brilliantly stated by the prosecutor, Mr. Mueller. The modern definition of rape, and the rightful one, I believe, is the absence of consent. Do you have 2 consenting parties saying, I want to do this? Yes, I want to do this too. And they do this, right? The sexual act. Unless one of them goes, wait a minute, never mind, I changed my mind, And then the other one says, well, never mind. No, we're going to keep going. Now that's consent is now absent from one of the parties. It has been revoked, right? That is one example. Or let's say the two parties again here start, I want to engage in sexual intercourse. I do not. Well, I'm going to do this anyway. That's rape, right? But when you are in a situation where it's like no one is forcing you to do anything and you just go along with it, because literally in her words testifying, she's like, well, that is like what I was expected of me, like, to do. What do you mean? You even the defense attorney brought it on cross-examination. Oh, and that's when you said, he was kind of like not half joking, but kind of bringing out the irony. And when you saw him, like the woman performing sexual acts on Harvey Weinstein, you stormed out the door and said, I will not be partaking in this. And she's like, no, of course you didn't. You stayed there and you went into the bathroom, you undressed and you changed into a robe and you came back out. So you can't say that like her hands were tied behind her back. It is maddening. It is maddening. And it is so difficult. I understand that like the sleaziness of Hollywood is just like oozes out of this trial, oozes out of every orifice of this trial. Pardon the imagery. But at the same time, the question is not, was it sleazy or dirty or nasty or uncalled for? The question is, did Harvey Weinstein commit a crime beyond a reasonable doubt? That's what the jury is going to be deciding here. Now, we know in New York he was found guilty, and he's appealing that. In Los Angeles, excuse me, he has been charged with 11 counts. Let me show you this. He has been charged with 11 counts indicted, charged, same thing. 11 counts of rape, forcible oral copulation, and sexual battery in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills. Charges that stem from alleged assaults on women between 2004 and 2013. And if convicted, Weinstein faces a de facto life sentence in California. So is it possible that he is going to be convicted of some of these charges? Possibly. I wasn't there for the whole trial. What I can tell you is the jury has had enough. The jury, I was in the beginning, I couldn't get a read on them because they were like fucking stoic as hell. But that's because they've already been sitting through like 3 weeks of testimony. And the prosecution should conclude their case, they said, tomorrow or Friday, for certain, like 100%. And then the defense will begin their case either Friday or Monday, with their case only lasting a couple of days, and then closings will presumably begin sometime next week, like maybe before Thanksgiving is next week. You guys, where's the time gone? Anyway, so can the jury acquit? Absolutely. On every single one of the charges, probably not. I also would like to know if the jurors are aware of his conviction in New York. Probably, because it made national headlines. So it's kind of hard to escape that. It would be impossible to find a completely unbiased jury unless you went to like Europe to find them, you know. But even then you would have a difficult time. But at the end of the day, the question is, out of these 11 counts, is it possible that he's going to get convicted on all of them? Probably not. Based on what I've seen today, based on the jurors' reactions, just how they were receiving the testimony today. But again, you got to remember, I'm seeing that like 3% of this entire case. I'm also hearing a lot of chatter, which is helping to fill in, but I wasn't there for the entire time, and I haven't had a chance to get a read on the jury. I have had a chance to read them on both direct and cross-examination, but not on both defense and prosecution witnesses yet. like I did, for example, in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. That would give me a lot more data and I would be able to give a better decision. But unfortunately, I'm only here until Sunday. So I will only get a chance to see prosecution witnesses, not defense witnesses, and the direct and cross examination of prosecution witnesses. What I can tell you here is this. All right, this is basically the conclusion of today. The jury is bored. They've had enough. They are fed up. They are no longer interested in listening to most of the stuff. They have this wrap it up look on their face. They have scoffed, literally scoffed at alleged allegations of like sexual assault because they don't believe some of these women. They are already over the moon. They're done. Okay. They're like, let's go. Can we go back to deliberate? They already have their decisions in their mind. It seems like the addition of all these dramatic entrances of all these wannabe actresses and whatnot. I don't know what else to call them because like they're some of these people have basically become like professional survivors. And I'm not hating on them. I don't want to hate on them because I understand. I can only imagine the things that they have gone through in their life to lead them to where they are today. But rather than going and like becoming, you know, I don't know, doing something else, I suppose they do this professionally. Like they come to the trial, they watch the victims, and they just show their support, which is fantastic. I hope that they have a life outside of this as well, that they're not like professional survivors because that would just be ridiculous. But I feel for these women. I understand the trauma that they've experienced in months past and years past, and they just want to be there for their comrades in action. But it's still it's a little shaky. It's a little shaky because at one point there may or may not have been some kind of, you know, not communication, but kind of they look at each other, they see each other, they kind of like they show that they're there. And I can tell you that right now, the jury is not very appreciative of that. They're accomplishing the reverse effect of what they want, and I think the defense knows that. That's why they haven't kicked him out of there yet. I think that's why they haven't kicked him out of there yet. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you like this content. So yeah, they're doing more harm than good. They're doing more harm than good because they think that by being like over dramatic, they're going to bring more value to the case, but they're detracting from it. They're detracting from the facts. When you try and bleed a case dry on emotion, you're only hurting it, and that's what these people don't realize. And now it's too late. Like my words are going to fall on deaf ears. Why? Because the case is almost over. There's only like 2 days left of testimony maximum, day and a half or a day minimum. So it is what it is. As to Masterson, I think that tomorrow we're gonna have a verdict on Masterson. We're gonna have one tomorrow, at the latest Friday afternoon, if they're deliberating Friday, which I think they are. If they're not deliberating Friday, then like Monday afternoon. But I don't think they want to go into the weekend. I don't think the jurors want to go into the weekend. I think they want to get a decision. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. I mean, let me check my notes, which are so sparse. I swear, they're just. It was just like literally watching a train wreck in slow motion. It was absolutely like watching. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I just sat there and listened because I'm like, there's nothing to be seen here. The jurors are all in agreement. They are all of the same wavelength, if that makes any sense at all. There is no independent. There's no independent like decision amongst them, like one outlier going, oh my god, yes, please tell me more. It's like when the prosecution was up there asking her questions, they were like, oh dear god, here we go again. And then when the defense attorney got up there, he was like, they were like, oh yeah, interesting, yeah. So they were siding with the defense, but that was just one witness, and it's not even one of the charged witnesses. So, and the judge made clear of that. This is not one of the charges. She was just adding like the course of conduct. She's a course of conduct witness. So I don't know, you guys. It's a fucking shit show. It's welcome to Hollywood again. This is like another Another one of those introductions for your homie here, the DUI guy. I'm going to be in court again tomorrow. I already made some new friends. Right now, I am actually going to go say hello to Amy Goodhart. You all remember her? Amy Goodhart was the neighbor of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard in the whatever building where they lived. And remember the elevator where Amber was like making out with James Franco, and the elevator where her and Elon Musk were taking to the flat. Remember all those videos? Yeah, I'm gonna get a chance to ride in that elevator, so that's kind of cool. Um, and yeah, other than that, I mean, I made a couple of new friends over at the Weinstein trial, and I have a friend at the um, Masterson trial. So anyway, yeah, I'm very excited. Should be fun. Should be fun. But I'm telling you, once again, I find myself in a world I'm like so unfamiliar with. But I'm a quick learner. I'm a quick learner. I learn my place very quickly. Apparently, oh, little update. Oh my God, you guys are gonna love this. Apparently, the Masterson family is trying to get interviews from everybody right now. His friends, I think Danny himself, his family are like trying to get interviewed by the everybody right now. It's kind of weird. I think they know that like the 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 end is nigh and it's inevitable. Also, oh God, you guys are gonna love this. I almost forgot when I did have lunch today, so thank you, Wolf, for the dono for the 10. I did have lunch today at the cafeteria, and you won't believe who I ran into. I ran into Cohen, the defense attorney on the Masterson trial, who was just sitting there eating lunch, and I came up to him and I said, "Look, man, you did a fantastic job." I introduced myself. I told him who I was. He actually said he's been to Louisville. He's been to my city. He said like a decade ago he had like some federal case, and he was there. And you know, I told him he did a great job, even though I don't think his case is looking good. He didn't say anything about that, of course. He knows he's not permitted to talk about his case outside of, you know, it's outside the courtroom. But I don't know. I just shared my thoughts. He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. I told him he did a great job. Um, so anyway, yeah. What a day, huh? What a day. So much has happened. It's amazing. It's like a crash course once again. It's almost like a similar crash course that I had when I was in Virginia for the Johnny Depp thing. Only I already have all that experience acquired, and now I'm just carrying it over to LA. Be careful. Basically, I've learned to be nice to everybody because you don't know who you're talking to. I actually found myself talking to one of Harvey Weinstein's former like PR people. I thought she was an attorney. Apparently she's not. But she's like, yeah, Weinstein, he's my former client. And I'm just like, dude, you're like 24, and which is probably a compliment to you. You're welcome. She might be like, I don't know, 28 or something. I don't know. But you, and it's not, I'm not just like, okay, must be nice to everyone. Got it, chief. It's just I'm just a happy-go-lucky, fun person. You know, that's just who I am by nature. So it comes very easily to me. Unless you're like, there's this one dude who sat next to me on the Masterson trial, and he's like, he started talking about, you know, how fun it is when you take down a personal investigator that's out to get you. And I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy, great, fantastic. I'm gonna be over here not talking to you if you don't mind. Thank you. You know, that one was a little sketchy, but pretty much everyone else has been like, other than the Scientologist. Maybe he was a Scientologist too. I have no idea. But for the most part, great people, just absolutely fantastic people. I think I already made like 4 or 5 different new friends, and each one is like amazing in their own right. So, and they come from so many different backgrounds, and every single one of them, I think, lives here. Like they're an LA native, an LA local. Just great people all around. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying this. and I am looking forward to reporting on this more tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me. Yes, I have met Tony. We have briefly talked, but he's too busy. He doesn't have time for me, which is okay. So yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you all again tomorrow, probably around the same time. You got to remember, I'm on Pacific time. So right now here it's like 5:20 and court goes until like 4. So I have to get here. Sometimes I eat, all that stuff. So right around the same time tomorrow and then possibly Friday. Again, I'm still trying to figure out, do we have court Friday? Do we not have court Friday? Do we have court Friday? Do we not have court Friday? Twitter voted, by the way. Excuse me, Twitter voted. Let me just share this with you guys real quick. I made a poll. I think it ended. No, it didn't end yet. It still has 35 minutes left. Nearly 1,000 people voted. Nearly 1,000 people voted. I just want to show you guys. This was the tweet. While the Danny Masterson jury deliberates, let's ask Twitter. Do you all think that Danny Masterson is going to get convicted of at least one? See, I tried to make it as broad as I possibly could because I couldn't be like, I didn't want to be like, oh, do you think he's going to convict like on all 3 charges? That's a little much. That's a little too much. So I was like, well, do you think they're going to convict on at least 1 charge? Pretty much every single one of you said yeah. Like 4 out of 5, almost 5 out of 9 people have said he's probably going to get convicted. So I did an interview with her yesterday, Colonel Kurtz. She is going to be posting that probably either later today or tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, I did a live with Colonel Kurtz. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about that. She posted on her Twitter and I retweeted it. And yeah, I'm very, thank you, Alexander. Very much appreciated, brother. So anyway, I had a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.